So, five-star offensive tackle Kelvin Banks has made his college decision, committing to the Texas Longhorns today and intends to sign on early signing day. But we have got to talk about why this is such a big win for Steve Sarkisian. Before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a Y for yes, N for no. Are you excited about Kelvin Banks electing to stay home and play for the Texas Longhorns? And let me know what you think about this move. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. Y'all don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoy this content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions, though they may seem small, are really massive to content creators such as myself in both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, let's talk about this because this is a massive win for the Longhorns. And it's easily the biggest recruiting win of Steve Sarkisian's short stay with the Longhorns thus far. Because not only is Banks a five-star tackle, which is exactly where the Longhorns need to focus on right now when you look back at their season, and there's a lot that the Longhorns need to improve on in the offseason. But it is hard to argue that anywhere needs the amount of work that the offensive line does, and Banks is a highly touted prospect. A top 30 prospect in the nation, a five-star, and what's bigger is the Texas Longhorns are keeping him home. Not only are they keeping him home, they won a battle against the likes of LSU and Texas A&M. And Texas A&M right now has a recruiting class that is absolutely surging. And whenever you see a school have that, it's not uncommon that that surge just continues because that's exciting. But this was a huge win for Sark and company. Keeping Kelvin Banks home was already going to be difficult enough, especially when he initially committed to Oregon. But the coaching carousel has set things in motion across college football, and it is going to be a wild recruiting season, right? With National Signing Day in February and with early National Signing Day so close, this college football coaching carousel is going to cause massive repercussions. And one such domino to fall was Kelvin Banks decommitting from Oregon when Mario Cristobal leaves. Now, that's a huge deal for the Texas Longhorns, like I said, because not only do they need offensive line, but they're right now trying to win the battle for Quinn Ewers out the transfer portal. And a guy such as Kelvin Banks is a great sign for a young five-star quarterback whenever he's making his decision of where he wants to go. Being able to be protected is paramount for a quarterback, and especially when you look at what Quinn Ewers is able to do, he's going to want a strong offensive line because he has got a cannon attached to his body. So Kelvin Banks is a win that is massive. But not only does it help with the prospect of getting maybe a Quinn Ewers, you also look, and Texas is still out here trying to win other battles for top-tier offensive line talent. Whether we're talking Malik Ogbo, who is a really talented player, top 300 in the nation, and someone who the Texas Longhorns have been working very hard to try and secure, but you're also talking about a Devin Campbell, another five-star out the state of Texas. And if the Texas Longhorns could lock up two five-star offensive linemen from the state of Texas, oh, that's about as big of a win as you could have asked for in this offseason from a recruiting perspective. Because I understand some people are going to correctly point out that recruiting hasn't been the Longhorns' issue, and you're not wrong. You're certainly not wrong. In fact, we had a very interesting conversation about this on Monday on the live stream. And one of the things we talked about, and Nino's from Nino's Sports Corner brought it up. If you don't subscribe to him, he does fantastic Texas Longhorn content. He did a really compelling video breaking down the offensive line recruiting woes for the Longhorns comparatively with the Big 12, but also comparatively with the SEC because of the move on the horizon. It was an incredibly done, in-depth piece that really highlighted the inefficiency of Texas's recruiting. And one of the things we highlighted on the live stream is nobody debates that Texas hasn't been able to recruit. They've been able to pull top 15 classes pretty much well at will. The problem is your classes have to have cohesion. They have to make sense. And Texas's classes, for more or less, have just been a collection of talent. They haven't made sense from a perspective of trying to build a program. It's just been a conglomerate of talent, which in theory sounds good, but it's very hard to turn that consistently into teams that make sense. And that's something that Steve Sarkisian and company really have to focus on. And there's no better place to start than the offensive line, especially when the state of Texas houses two five-star offensive linemen that everybody in the nation wants. I mean, look, when Banks decommitted from Oregon, I don't know, but I can bet he got a call from just about every major college in the nation, because why wouldn't you? When you have a guy this talented that plays the offensive line position, you got to have those guys. They are must-gets. And especially, I know I talk about this a lot for Texas and OU, but these are the type of recruiting wins you have got to get with the move to the SEC on the horizon. And so being able to get the win for a Kelvin Banks may bode well for other offensive line battles, or at least that's what you hope, because those guys who you're also still in these battles for, such as Ogbo, such as Campbell, are going to look at the situation and see there's another 5-star offensive tackle here. That's something we can build upon. We can actually build an offensive line out of this class. That's going to excite those dudes. So you do have to like where Texas stands right now, but man, what a recruiting win for the Longhorns, especially in the roller coaster ride of a recruitment that was Banks. And I'm not saying it was filled with drama. It absolutely wasn't. It was nothing but businesslike from everything I've heard. But it's just to have someone that talented, that close to the university, and then ultimately choose to go to the Oregon Ducks, and then have this domino fall because of the coaching carousel that has just taken over college football right now, just adds into the drama and the intrigue of what has been maybe the most exciting college football season and going to be off-season I can remember. I mean, y'all just think about the coaching moves we've seen and think about the implications of those coaching moves. Think about the recruiting losses and wins that are going to be sustained because of these moves. I mean, you look at Mario Cristobal goes to Miami, Texas gets Banks. Lincoln Riley leaves Oklahoma, and the 23 recruits decommit, and some of them are following him to the USC Trojans. All of these things are going to have ripple effects, and it's going to be very interesting to see how everything turns out. I'm interested to see what prospects try and hold off to the original signing day within February because of this coaching carousel. But at least for Kelvin Banks, that's not a worry for him, because he said at least he wants to sign in the early national signing period, which if you're a Texas fan, that is music to your ears. This could have massive domino effects. Like I said, both from an offensive line recruiting perspective, and also you're trying to get transfer quarterback Quinn Ewers. There's just no better way to try and do that than saying, hey, we can also offer 5-star offensive line. Kelvin Banks may be a freshman, but he's a very talented individual, and he is going to be a much-needed piece to that Texas offensive line. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this. That's it. See ya.